I hope you are enjoying these wonderful spring days. I was so grateful to see the sun coming through the windows this morning. We have had 3 straight days of rain, and so we were desperate for some sunshine, and the kids actually got to go outside and play today, which was such a relief for the house and for mom and also for them, especially my 3-year-old. He has got to get outside and play. And so 3 days of rain, we were ready for it today. So I'm going to take you along with some cooking that I'm going to be getting done today and kind of what mom life looks like when I'm not homeschooling, the ins and outs behind that. So we actually sent off Dad and the boys to get haircuts at my mom's house. And I have been just trying to find some recipes for myself, as I mentioned in my last video, for my just postpartum weight loss journey. It's really important for me to have some recipes that I can make on repeat that fulfill the cravings and needs, protein needs, but also taste really good. And so I've been kind of just working through that these last few weeks to find staple things that I love. But I am down officially 5 pounds, so I'm really happy about that. That just means that the hard decisions and choices that I'm making are having their effect. And I'm hoping just with nursing and making these hard choices and good choices that it'll just slowly come off for the next few months. So this was the Trim Healthy Mama frozen cherry chocolate shake. Oh my gosh, so good. Trim Healthy Mama has been around for 12 years if you've never heard of it. It's basically just a way of eating that separates your fuels. So you have fat fuels you and also carbohydrates fuel you. And of course, protein is the center of every single meal. I'm still tracking my macros, but I am definitely trying to focus on either having fat or carbs at meals when I can. I'm not doing it as a purist or by all means. But I've done this the last 2 weeks, and I think that's what finally has budged the scale. It's just separating my fuels, tricking my metabolism. So the Trim Healthy Mama cookbooks are 2 cookbooks that I have been using for a decade or ever since they've come out. So I will share those. They're in my Amazon storefront because they're the top 2 cookbooks that I recommend to everyone. And they have drink recipes, smoothie recipes, single snacks and lunches for mom, family favorite meals that we've been making forever. And so the e-smoothie, I'll see if it's on their blog. If it is, I'll share it. Otherwise, I will link those recipe books down below. But I love that one because it is a meal, which is basically carbohydrates, low fat. And so getting a cup of frozen cherries, so high in antioxidants and good for you vitamins from that frozen fruit. Then you get your protein, and it's so, so yummy. So if you have a favorite smoothie that you enjoy, let me know down below. But in this kind of weight loss journey, I usually will either start with eggs and bacon and maybe some, sauteed spinach, or I'll start with a smoothie for my day. Next thing that I got done this morning was some chocolate einkorn muffins. We are bringing a meal to one of our close homeschool friends as part of our co-op. They just had their 5th kid. I like to include some muffins if I'm able to when I bring a meal to a family. So these are all whole food ingredients. This recipe is from Farmhouse on Boone. I will link it down below. But because we're using Greek yogurt and have some collagen in there, it actually is 10% protein. And so these are really great if your kids want a yummy snack, but also still get some protein. Einkorn flour itself has a higher protein content, so that's a win-win. And those chocolate muffins, they taste like chocolate cake. They're very, very good. Before I started, tracking, I did not realize the calorie profile on them. It may not be the best for mom if she's in a weight loss journey, but for your growing children, they are incredible. And I definitely enjoyed one. They're just scrumptious. So if you haven't tried those muffins yet, be sure to do that. And again, I'll link that below. And then I also like to include a seasonal fruit. if I'm making food for a family, this family, their kids are about the exact same age as my children. And so all kids love to chow down on fruit. So we made a Costco run just after lunch today so we could have some fresh fruit. But I always like to wash my fruit. I've been using the same veggie wash for 7 years, and I love that I just have a peace of mind that not only is it cleaning all of the just yuck that's on people's hands at the grocery store and the handling of the fruit, but it's also helping clean it of any pesticides and things that might have a residue on the fruit. So I went ahead and got strawberries and blueberries, and then the melons lately have been so good from Costco. We've been getting one almost every week. Same with the berries, just juicy fruit. Ooh, June is coming and it is the best season for fresh fruit. Yum, it's gonna be so good. So got that taken care of. And then I went back and forth on what to make this family. I'm always trying to decide, what are we craving? What would someone be craving after a baby? And I usually always go to something that is satiating and just delicious and comforting right after you've had a baby, that just satisfies all the cravings and all the needs that you need that first week or two after you've had your new little one. So this recipe I have been making for probably a decade. It is on a blog. It's Satisfying Eats. I also own her cookbooks. I've had them for years. I would say this is one of my other top cookbooks, and I'll link this recipe down below. It's just for the cheese sauce. Her blog is gluten-free, and so you actually mix this cheese sauce with cauliflower. But I've been making it for years with noodles, either gluten-free or regular. This time I used just the Italian organic pasta because this family didn't have diet restrictions, and then chicken and bacon, and it just makes for a really yummy baked macaroni. I think that the key ingredients here for making this cheese sauce extra scrumptious is just having all of that fresh cheese, freshly grated, not over pasteurized. So that just really gives it a punch, especially the Parmesan. Having that fresh Parmesan is so very good. Now, my Adelaide really loves to be in the kitchen. I think I have mentioned that before. She would one day like to have a cooking YouTube account or something. So she loves to be cooking in the kitchen. So she came in here to help me. She also loves to help record as well. So she was setting this up and looking forward to sharing this with all of you. So when you are shredding a couple pounds of fresh cheese, you definitely want to pull out the food processor. I don't do it often because that's another dish to wash. Man, it shreds that cheese in 5 seconds. So it's the way to go when you're doing anything bulk cheese making, or freezer meals and things like that. So the Cajun seasoning that we use in this cheese recipe is also in her cookbook. I'll see if it's on the blog. If it is, I'll link that down below, and I just keep that in my pantry because the Cajun seasoning, I think it's 6 different seasonings, and I'll use the Cajun seasoning on many things when I'm cooking. So it's just a nice all-purpose seasoning that you can mix together. Now, earlier this morning, I did the same thing with 5 pounds of chicken breast that I've done the last few weeks, and I basically just did it in the Instapot. So easy. And this time I put about 2 pounds, maybe 1.5, 2 pounds of the chicken breast in each of our macaronis. Because whenever I'm making a meal for someone, I make our family the exact same thing just to make life a little bit easier. And of course, my kids are wanting the meal that I'm making for our friend. So this makes the macaroni just a much higher protein content. So this is just a very satisfying meal, but you're also getting in that protein. So once I've had the chicken breasts in there, this morning I also cooked up 2 pounds of bacon in the oven. So that stuff was done in the morning prep, which is just, really important as a mom, is just learning how to kind of spread this out as you're able through the day, if you can do anything ahead of time. So a lot of that I did in the morning when the baby was happy. So then you just add the cheese sauce. I had quadrupled that cheese sauce. I like it to be extra cheesy. And then one of my just easiest sides that we have very often, because frozen vegetables is just easier for me in this season, is I love these green beans from Costco. And so I will just spray it with the coconut oil, avocado spray, whatever spray you have, just to make it easier. And then season the green beans however you like. Sometimes I do the all bagel seasoning. Sometimes I do like onion, garlic. This time I just did a very simple one since it was for different, people, and I just did salt, pepper, and then I love nutritional yeast. I think it adds such a nice little nutty, cheesy flavor. And so that's something that I add to a lot of our foods. It's in a lot of the Trim Healthy Mama recipes. Nutritional yeast, I'm pretty sure it's high in like vitamin B's. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's very good for you. And so I'll add it to a lot of things. So then it's just wonderful to see your efforts throughout your day. I know we spend so many hours as moms in the kitchen, and just to know that you can bless another family by that, and your own family as well. So packing it all up, cutting up the fresh melon, and then just having these easy reused leftover containers to fill up for them just some fresh cut fruit, which if their kids are anything like my kids will be gone in like 5 minutes, but should be really yummy and hit the spot. I know that after I've had a baby, the one thing that has been really very helpful are meal trains. My mom has set one up, and my sister and our friends have brought us meals after every single kid. And I know that that is such a huge blessing. We just use mealtrain.com and share it with friends. So if that is something that you feel nudged and inspired to do, it is definitely an easy thing for our communities and how we can serve one another. So I'm very grateful for my friends and my family and just setting that example. And I want to show our girls that that's something we could do for others too. Doesn't have to be gourmet, just basic but satisfying, something to bless them in this season. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me in my cooking today. Thank you so much for being part of our family's channel here. I just love sharing a little bits of our day. I'll see you next time.